stop fucking with my hair and actually go live. I need to wash my hair anyways. It's a mess right now. I'm getting a midday slump, but also I've kind of been tired all day. I've been doing better about getting up earlier, which is nice. But like, it's a struggle right now, but that's okay. I have coconut cake. I don't remember what the Spanish word for it is, but it will help me get through this. I hate when people noisily eat stuff, so I'm not gonna be annoying about it. Just like, probably just eat some of it now, so it's not like all throughout the video. Okay. I've had One More Time by Daft Punk stuck in my head for the last 3 days, I think. Oh, and OBS disconnected like in the middle of that last tip. And so I'll just restart that. I'm pretty sure. Oh god, I didn't check. Hold on. Okay, I did save. For a second, I was like looking back, I was like, did I forget to save? And I'm gonna have to like spacebar through the whole chapter again on stream. Okay. So if I do this, I'm gonna check the sound from the computer with the, so I can like isolate everything. So if I do this, I'm gonna check the sound through the whole chapter again on stream. Wait, hold on. Okay, talking, I am talking. This is a test. Everything. Through the whole chapter again on stream. Okay, talking, I am talking. This is a test. Cool. Okay. Good stuff. Cool. Okay. Good. Oh, let me share stream. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to a very long stream today because I want to focus my time and energy into some other stuff. Since it's already like kind of late-ish in the day for me. I really tried to get on stream earlier, but it was just like, no. I've had some personal shit going on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is all. That's about all I have to say about that. I watched Forrest Gump a lot as a child. playing the last... We're in the last chapter. I saw that I got a Steam, like, achievement. I almost said trophy. I got a Steam achievement saying, like, you read all the tips in Onikakushi, and it's like, oh shit, this is the last tip, which means this is the last fucking chapter. And I looked it up. Yes, we finished chapter 11. We're about to do 12. Yes. Higurashi Onikakushi. So I guess I'll just replay. Aw. Cute video of a kid helping his dad with his car. I really like accounts like Wholesome Masculinity Spotting, W Dudes something on Twitter. I don't know, something along those lines. I forget. Yeah, cute. Okay. Oh, I noticed that it was cropped a little too much. So, like, if there was text filling the screen, you couldn't see the bottom text. So, how do I fix that again? I meant to do something to, like, compare it to, so I guess we'll just play and see how it looks. But yes. So, oh, this is all the... That's cool that they give you all of them at once instead of just the... Well, I think maybe because it's saved, I don't know. So we did split personality. And then at 7th Mart, I guess we'll just... Instead of going right up into... Whatever. 7th Mart was a bargain supermarket with food and alcohol. What's this, Keiichi? So many. There's no reason to get all the different kinds, is there? I flopped all the different colored cup noodle bowls into the cart. Cup noodles have gotten so elaborate recently, and there are a bunch of different types. I want to try each one of them at least once. I knew it was pretty selfish of me, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. Keiichi, buy them in the big case. It's cheaper. Dad faltered. Well, I had a feeling it'd end up like this. Dad knew there was no point in him butting in. Then I'd only get to eat one kind. I'd get bored with it. I was resisting as a formality. I had already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get. If you can't pick, then Mommy will pick for you. You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the cases of noodles for what I want. Pork bone and ginger. Large cup? Hey, Keiichi, can't you get a more normal one? If I let Mom pick, she'd err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt flavored. I really like... I feel like I don't like beef as much as I think I would. I love steak, but I don't like beef ramen that much. I like pork. It was a Freudian slip. I like pork ramen, and also soy sauce flavor's pretty good. Nissan has a line called Rao, R-A-O-H. The soy sauce one for that is really good, and the pork one for that is also really good. Anyways, pork bone is good. I don't want a big bowl of tasteless stuff. God damn it. I remembered insisting that the noodles I picked were the right kind. I'm so fucking weak. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. So, I think it's very interesting that this is like a memory he's revisiting. And it's like, is he only thinking that Reina was in this because she said something about it? Is he getting paranoid? Or was it just, he kind of knew she was there, but had, like, you know, just kind of, it doesn't come into your conscious mind, it's just kind of a feeling you get that you sort of ignore. In this frozen memory in time, this encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings. So I did what I could and reached out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find the presence I overlooked. No matter how much I searched through my field of vision, I couldn't see Reina. I rewound the situation, searching. But of course, I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying at me from my blind spot? I go through the sound and presences again, looking. I could sense the other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. There was nobody looking over this way, no one trying to get behind me. Not here, couldn't be here, probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if somebody was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using a vague word like probably, right before contradicting it with definitely. Then, I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There's definitely a presence like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. If a presence really had manifested behind me, I would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on and there was no way for me to turn around. While carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles. Running through the instant noodle section, bad-mouthing my mom, but there was that presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was. Realizing it now after the fact was horrifying and repulsive. In that moment of time, I was running around gleefully, carrying that cardboard box. Tip-tap. But listening to that moment again, I could hear footsteps other than mine going pit-pat with every step. Also, they said it sounded like the footsteps were barefoot, which I find interesting. And I wonder if it's... because, I mean, Reina's saying she was behind, but I also wondered if it was... what if it was Satoshi? But, I don't know. Tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap. Pit-pat, pit-pat. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pit-pat were right behind me. Me running around gleefully in that closed-off moment in time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. I didn't think I had heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. That is why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I ran at that time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. Then I returned to my parents and started talking. The shadow-like presence was right at my back. Since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That is why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. A pit-pat. That shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At that time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. Someone turn on the light. Except my body couldn't move. As if I was sewn into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. No, that's just breaking the rules. I haven't moved, so you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move, so you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the rules. Pit-pat. Yet that sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck pricked up on end. It was so close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move, like how the presence was moving behind me? I quickly realized I could move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. There's something unforgivable in this moment in time, but I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being was trying to force me to stop, it began to administer a pain like a needle being stuck into my every pore. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. A scream I was unable to vocalize. I don't know what that was. I turned around. At first, I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What? What is this? The situation in front of my eyes. It was like a mouth biting an apple and slurping the juice. What you could do with an apple. My mind was being eaten. I began to munch down, slurping the juices, because it was like an apple. Meaning, what was in front of me was... Ugh. Wow. That is so annoying. I really hate that tip. Because it's so, like, I don't know what to make of it. And it's interesting because it is, like, a big part of the series, from what I understand so far, is a lot of it is looking back on the same events in a different light and looking at it from different perspectives. And that's why we also see, like, you know, Keiichi will be really paranoid one day and then the next day everything will seem fine. It's very, like, temporal based. And very, like, polar. Okay, let's see how... Okay. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna... Let's do that. Sure. Okay. Alright. Alright. Let's do this. I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in a panic all night. I cannot sleep sitting up, So I'll be that person that like slumps over and then like I almost wish I could be that person who could like fall asleep like this, but then your neck just hurts really bad. So like I have to be laying like just at a slight like lean back in order to like really sleep. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Waiting, watching just in case someone tried to break in through my window. If I left the spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying, and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. It was so much better to just stay awake. At some point during that endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just simply the sun simply having risen. I stuck a peek out through the curtains. Raina was gone. Could you imagine if she stood there for hours all through the night? That would be really terrible. Raina was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time, but I needed to make my own breakfast, so I'd better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mom gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable, so staying holed up in here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Oishi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So, unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every morning. I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. But that didn't mean I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that drives by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself, I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. I'm gonna check the stream, look at the, what do you call it? Okay, I need to crop this down a little bit. Oops. Yay. Let's do that. Okay. Alright. Finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. Alright, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Did I remember to... If there's another person in the chat, hello. I can't tell if that's both of my accounts technically watching it. But yeah. Satoshi, please lend me your strength and entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Reina or Mion, I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the entryway. Right. I meant to clean that up last night, but never got around to it with the phone call and everything. If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up right now, and considering what would happen if I ran into Reina or Mion, it wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain the doors were locked, I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to go to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Keep your guard up, Keiichi Maibara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last day is me. I've never had that where it's like... So normally there's a montage like this, but there was one where it was just that mountain or whatever, and then you click it. So that was kind of interesting. Normally it just auto does it. I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Reina arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Reina said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her telling Sadako and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen, though it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Oishi-san shared about Reina's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Reina as a cute, ideal girl. Kei-chan, I see you're still aiming for the nationals. It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion. If you understand, then leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactily keeping Mion from getting any closer. Hey, Kei-chan, take it easy. I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal. Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball? Just recently. Recently? You mean yesterday? Don't ask if you already know. Oh dear, that's a very unsportsmanlike reply. You're distracting me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this, but Mion just stood there waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility, but we were at school in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. Poured from me. Did I say for? I noticed my shoulders were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me. I don't think that's how it works. Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later. Now's fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from others, that's out of the question. Well, Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words, but unlike Oishi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say. But then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that mire. This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having a poor vocabulary hurts. I love Mion. She's like, I think Mion is best girl, in my opinion. Maybe Rika, though, so far. I like how she is later on, though. What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it. Stop it. Stop that swinging. She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I? That's not what I meant. I want today to be the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry. It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I? You are. Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anybody? Mion was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke, though she stuttered as she said it. Because, Kei-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. I just heard my headphones do a noise that I hadn't heard before. I think that means they're fully charged. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, hi, Rudy. We have a munchkin. This is Rudy. Her fur is super dense, and she's got short little legs. She's got the cutest face. She really likes making biscuits on my lap, so I'll let her do that. No, you can't have the cake. Stop it. You know what I really want to make? Turkish delight. I just all of a sudden, like a few days ago, just like remembered the Turkish delight scene from Narnia. And it's not that hard to make. It's, just a confectionery. It's like just sugar and some other ingredients, and you boil it so it like congeals. It's kind of a gross word, but yeah, I ate it before you could. She's a plastic eater, so I gotta watch her. No. Oh my god. My legs are so tired, but it's probably because I haven't been exercising. But it's too hot to go for a walk outside. I'm wearing a sweater, but that's because I like to keep it icy cold in this house. Okay, so Kei-chan is someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission. It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it. Huh? Yeah, he transferred. Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. But strange, isn't it, for the older brother to transfer by himself while his little sister stayed behind? Mion couldn't hide her reaction as my words shook her up. Kate-chan, you knew? Satoshi Hojo, Sadako's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year? He is just going in. Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Reina asked the same thing. Why'd you start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings, right before he went missing. So, is this some kind of omen for Oyashiro-sama's curse? Shh! Mion panicked and looked around. Please, Keitan, don't mention Oyashiro-sama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Reina especially. Dangerously so? Anyway, you're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. God damn it. The cake is really fucking dry. Last time, after I did that, like, almost 3-hour stream with not very much of a break, just reading, I went to the grocery store, and then I just, like, fell asleep for a few hours because I was so tired. And I'm just now kind of recovered from it. Like, obviously I did other stuff, but yeah. So, anyways, you're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi. I was the one who was scared. Who do I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now. I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him. We didn't mean to hide it. You were hiding the incidents that happen every year, weren't you? That's because we didn't want to... You didn't want to scare me? That's your reason for leaving me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mion, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered, you lied to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends. Kei-chan, Mion looked helpless and flustered. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? I never could have imagined Mion acting like this. It's so weird. Like, this isn't my first time interacting with this part of the story. Again, I watched, like, the anime, but a lot of the same stuff seems to happen from what I've heard. I've tried to stay away from, like, a lot of spoilers, but, like, this is really, like, disconcerting to see Mion acting, like, really meek and, like, unsure of herself, and, like, for her to be the one that's... Normally she's the one that's dominating conversation and, like, not letting people get the best of her. Meanwhile, now she's just kind of getting trampled by Keiichi, and it really makes us, like, hate Keiichi. It's so good. Really good writing. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you brought the other day? They were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You or Reina? Me. She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend? But it was just a little prank. Mion gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me. You think that was a prank? Oh my god. I swear to fucking God, stop. so sweet. Every time I get up, I just get so, like, short of breath. Okay. You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. So just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been on you from the start, so don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents too. I also know you've spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the anti-dam movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that? How did you know? Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. I think it's interesting that in Japan it's the principal that rings the bell, rather than... Well, I mean, like... Because, like, obviously, like... This is in the country in the 80s, so they didn't have, like, the electronic ringing of the bell. So I wonder if, traditionally, in schools where there is a physical bell, is it the principal that bestows that responsibility? I don't know. Like, across cultures. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? For a moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks. You're so mean, Kei-chan. I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion still shaking as I turned around to head for the entrance. I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself. Was she saying sorry? So that's how it is. Huh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy, cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her. So it was that bastard. He leaked it all to Kei-chan. She balled up her fists as her tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot on the ground with a terrifying, yet smiling face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Reina's. I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year. Retiring this year? Was she talking about Oishi-san? Yeah, who do you think, Keiichi? Damn it. I'm going to kill that damn old man. It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the center, the world had begun to twist and spiral. Bending. Whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Rise, attention. Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Reina nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Sadako nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The months since I transferred in had been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it was oddly refreshing. The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join into the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath in the recesses of my heart, achingly I knew this would be the last day of this cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be, whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitake-san and Satoshi were probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When do I realize it? I wonder if I will be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw a Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Bleep, bleep, bleep. There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. Yeah, because it's a cicada, Keiichi. You're not supposed to understand it. But I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once, as if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. Wait a second. The sound of footsteps was almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. My voice. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No, since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I'd hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me. Was it Reina, just like yesterday? If it was Reina, I wouldn't hold back. I'm thinking it's Mion, maybe. Or maybe Sadako. Because it would make more sense for Sadako rather than Rika. Because, like, Sadako's related to Satoshi. Like, we need to hear from Sadako right now. If it was Reina, I wouldn't hold back. I would just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. If it wasn't Reina, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. Hey. looks really silly, but it feels good to like line it up with your breathing. Come on. Crack, you bitch. Bring it around town. Bring it around town. Why? It actually feels really good. Oh my god. Jokes aside. What? You think so? Okay. Nope. Okay. There's nothing on the table for you. If it wasn't right, I would. Oh my god. What the fuck, dude? If it wasn't Raina, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants. Hang on. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants, and readjusted the grip on the bat. No matter what I do, it's not gonna work. I could tell that the fear that I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? Oh. I'm gonna look out the window. I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Raina. There was a bit of relief as I realized it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Raina that I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand was an axe. Fuck. I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. How close were you to the... Did you just eat an onion? You fucking idiot. No. There was like a tiny little piece of onion on the plate from breakfast. Oh my god. many times do I have to teach you this, old man? It's me to Goliath. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing. There were tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat, but for that axe, there was no excuse for that. An axe just like that? Kate-kun, are you playing hide and seek, I wonder? My heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good, not good, not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here. Were you trying to scare me, I wonder? I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than allow Reina to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. I found you, Kate-kun. Reina was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Oh my god. Yeah. The fuck? It's like I have a cat hair or a piece of fuzz, or it's my allergies. I don't fucking know. Okay. Reina was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes, they were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Ugh, not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous hot and cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all the organs in my body. He just needs to take a shit. That's all it is. Not good. Not good. I'll be devoured by Reina at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose. Hold on. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with this. Aha. I need a trash can or something in here. I have one that's like right outside in the hallway, but still. What is it? I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. Okay, that was the last thing she said. But Reina didn't flinch one bit. Just the same as Kate-kun. I'm heading home. Then what about that axe? Then what about that bat you're holding? I'm practicing my swing. Then I'm treasure hunting. Reina gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon. Treasure hunting? At the treasure mountain, near the dam site. I found a new cute thing, so I needed this to dig it out. That was the axe she was talking about. We saw her holding it when we were treasure hunting for Colonel Sanders. It makes me wonder if she got the axe for treasure hunting, or she also wanted to intimidate Keiichi. I don't know. It's bothering me how like hard it is to tell. How could I believe that? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Reina's laugh was obviously very strange. I'd seen Reina's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious. Wait, Keiichi-kun. Reina didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Reina got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. This cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Reina and was trying to escape. Don't follow me! I can't do that. My house is this way, after all. When I met with Reina on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands. But today was different. Reina didn't show a hint of trepidation. Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? If the way home for Reina and me was the same, that's fine. I'd just change my route. That'd work out, wouldn't it? I turned onto a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. Don't get lost. That's the last thing you want. But Reina saw me do that and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Then just go home down the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth. Why are you following me? The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror. Because I want to talk to Keiichi-kun. I was like, if my mouse dies right now, I'm gonna fucking rage. Keiichi-kun wants to talk to Reina too, doesn't he? Doesn't he? I don't want to talk about anything with you. That's a lie, isn't it? There's something you want to talk to me about, isn't there? Not at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. That's a lie, isn't it? It's not a lie. Lies! Reina's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only thing I could do was increase my pace. Let's talk, Keiichi-kun. Talk. Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street? Doesn't Keiichi-kun have something he's worried about? Nothing at all. I'm not worried about anything. Lies. Even though I was running, even though Reina was walking, why wasn't I getting any farther away? I know. I really do know. You're scared, aren't you, Keiichi-kun? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. Lies. I'm not going to keep doing the laugh. At least not every single time. I don't have the energy for it, unfortunately. My breathing grew heavy and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Reina wasn't even breaking a sweat. I'll listen. This time I'll listen. I had no idea what she was talking about or what exactly she wanted to do. This time I'll listen. It'll be different from the time with Satoshi-kun. When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Reina was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop. Satoshi-kun was worried too. It looked like he was having such a hard time. But I didn't listen. I was so sad. Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, ups and downs. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction towards my house. The sense of direction had long since gone out of the window. I really regretted it when Satoshi-kun transferred out. I thought that if I had listened, he may not have transferred out. I really regretted that. The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm. So you see, I vowed that if there was someone struggling like Satoshi did, I'd save them. I don't want to see anyone transfer out again. Damn it. What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi. Come on, Kage-kun. Talk to me. I'll be able to understand you, Kage-kun. I'm your ally. Reina's part of the LGBTQIA plus community. She's an ally. I started wheezing out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swing. Yeah, dude, you should have. Come on. Freaking... Okay. Oh, now my phone unlocks. Okay. Where the fuck did this fly come from? I left the window open for like a little bit last night. Like, not even like 10 minutes before I was like, I'll just use the air purifier to like air out the room. Because like I hadn't in a while. So like, I guess maybe a fly got in that way? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought. If Kage-kun doesn't have anything to worry about, he'll go back to normal. Everyone will be back to being friends and we can enjoy club activities again. Next time we'll tee him up and beat Mi-chan. Yeah, how much fun that would be. Reina couldn't even imagine how much I had wished I could turn back the clock on these past few days. You could be nice to me again too. I want to go searching for treasure again. This time I'll prepare a nice lunch. Actually, we could just go right now. Let's go up to the dam site together. I'll show you the cute thing I just found. I'm sure you'll like it too. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. I hate the word falter. I just hate saying it. Hot on my heels, Reina's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Reina. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think of what the end could entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me and I crumbled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Reina was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Reina was so cool and composed that she could have froze the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense that if her heart was beating. Are you afraid of something, I wonder? That's like the first time she said I wonder and she doesn't repeat it. It's not like you to tremble, Kage-kun. Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. As she admonished me for trembling, Reina's hands deftly slipped over her head. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of the thousand-armed Buddha. Then, as both of her hands met above her head, the axe that she held into focus. I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do. Tell me, what happened to Satoshi? Reina stayed like that, with that axe raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions. told you. Satoshi-kun transferred out. Enough of that transfer crap. It means demoned away, doesn't it? Doesn't it? You can tell me now, can't you? Who made Satoshi disappear? Was it you? Mion? Or someone in the village? Answer me. I became frantic the more I screamed, but Reina did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face. I have no idea what Keiichi-kun is talking about. Then I'll say it in a way so you do. Who's the perpetrator of this chain of mysterious deaths? You seem to be confused, Keiichi-kun. What? There is no human perpetrator. Everything is by Oyashiro-sama's will. Isn't Oyashiro-sama's curse just superstition? You believe in that too? It's not about believing it or not. Oyashiro-sama exists. Period. Reina's gaze grew even more gelid. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything. There's just no way that something like Oyashiro-sama could exist. You don't believe in Oyashiro-sama? There's no way I could believe it. There's no way it could exist. It exists. Oyashiro-sama exists. Keiichi-kun should have felt it personally. I never felt something like that. Keiichi-kun, haven't you felt someone apologizing to you before? Constantly on top of that? All noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Reina's voice resounded loudly and terribly. You see, until you forgive them, they'll always be with you. At school, at home, at your bedside. I couldn't understand what Reina was saying. It came to me too. Oyashiro-sama did. That's why I transferred and came back to Hinamizawa. I don't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? What was Reina saying? Hasn't Oyashiro-sama come to you as well, Keiichi-kun? I'm probably the one who you can confide in. I won't let you transfer out, okay? Reina's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Reina saying Oyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I heard about that when I asked about Reina. Reina! Oh my god. Queen has such a pathetic little meow. I have to let her in. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so tired. But I was very excited to play this today. This is the highlight of my day. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? Oishi began speaking. I wonder if this is going to be like that tip, where it's like you think back to it and then you're able to kind of go back into that memory. Neither the victims nor the school filed a complaint, so there's no preliminary report. Basically, the police haven't intervened in this matter, so all of these details are just what I heard from those involved. Meaning it's not that credible. You said there were victims? Didn't Reina just break all the windows? No. Reina Ryugu had attacked 3 boys using a metal bat. 2 of them made it out with only bruises, but the other had been injured so badly that one of his eyes was permanently damaged. Wouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't the police have arrested her? For whatever reason, the victim never pressed charges. There was no report to the police, so they were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally there would be a criminal investigation, but why didn't they press charges? I tried asking the 3 male victims for their side of the story, but they were all reluctant. It's hard to say, but they were all afraid, even after she had transferred schools. Oishi-san, could you summarize it starting from the beginning? Reina hit people while she broke the windows? Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different. Yeah. Which is scarier? Someone like going back and forth between breaking an inanimate object and hitting people, or like getting finished breaking a bunch of property and stuff and then, or no, and hitting people and then just breaking windows because it felt like you would get more out of it. On an undisclosed date, Reina Ryugu was conversing with 3 male students, close friends of hers, near the pool storage shed. Who were those 3? I can't reveal their names, but they were close to Reina Ryugu, and it seemed they were a group of friends. She was the lone girl in their group. So it wasn't that strange that the 4 of them were together. So what happened? I don't know the reason why. She took the baseball team's bat that was in the pool storage shed and beat the 3 of them down one after the other. What? There were no witnesses. This was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Reina and 3 male students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather they usually met up there. It appears it became a heated discussion. At that time, Reina underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after the other, leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their head. She made her way towards the school building. Then she broke the glass windows one after the other. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on scene and subdued her. What was this change Reina underwent? What matches up in the statements from the 3 was a sudden change. The point that there was a transformation. I also could recall Reina's transformation. I had seen that change many times before. It was so different from the usual Reina that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Reina. That transformation they're talking about, had it happened before? No, there was nothing like that. As far as I could find out, in her medical history and past, there was nothing like that. Does that happen often, where people change suddenly like Reina did? Of course it does. There are plenty of psychological phenomena that could cause something like that. Then you're saying there was a dormant element in Reina that caused that transformation? I cannot say that for certain, but according to the statements of her friends, it's hard to believe she had such a side to her. Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat. Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I, myself, sometimes believe that I was mistaken for thinking that that was Reina, even now. Then, what happened after that? There was a hospital right across from the school, so the 3 of them were carried in and treated quickly. What about Reina? What about the police? Why wasn't there a criminal investigation? You see, the police can't get involved unless they are called. Even though one was badly injured with permanent damage? Why didn't they file charges? That's what caught my attention as well. Either some threat or pressure was placed on them. Or they had a reason they couldn't file charges even if they wanted to. For talking about you after all. Of course you looked into it, didn't you? Well, yeah, but I told you at the beginning, didn't I? That the victims were all very reluctant to talk. They didn't want to touch on the matter, or rather, they didn't want to be involved. Reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here in Oyashiro-sama's curse. Did the teachers at that school tell you anything? School is a hallowed ground. You could say they tend to keep scandals under wraps. I didn't have a search warrant, so I had to tread lightly, you see. Then there was no comment from the school? No. They denied the incident even happened. It's just 3 male students were carried in for blunt force trauma that day. That's all there was in the hospital records. Victims didn't speak, the school denied it happened. Then you don't know anything at all? Yeah, I know nothing other than the incidents itself had taken place. Oh my god, my shoulder. The victims also wish this incident to be kept from the public. So if you and I both forget about it, Mayabar-san, then this incident will probably just fade away. For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, it looked like a simple assault case, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by rolling waves, sinking quietly into the void as if it never existed to begin with. After that, she was suspended by the school, and during that time, she underwent psychiatric counseling. Did you hear anything from that doctor? Again, they were very professional in regards to their ethics, or at least very tight-lipped. Nothing even after you showed them your badge? I was told to get a warrant. The badge itself has no legally binding authority, after all. Then how did you know that Reina confessed that it was Oyashiro-sama who did it? Did you talk to Reina? Okay. There was a nurse I asked in that department. She agreed to help me just from showing her my badge. Then, what did she say? Turns out that the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently all she remembered was she overheard from inside the room. The nurse said at that time Reina Ryugu was very calm and mild-mannered. It was more like she was confessing her sins at a church than a counseling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through, her mother was asked to leave. So it became a private counseling session between just the doctor and Reina for a while. The part with Oyashiro-sama, when did that pop up? Partway through, she screamed the name suddenly. That startled the nurse, and that's why she started listening in. It was Oyashiro-sama! Reina suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what was said before that, so I have no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor calmly and collectedly asked Reina to have a seat. What is this Oyashiro-sama you speak of? Gently, ever so gently. The fundamentals of counseling were believing what you were told. Whoever abandons Hinamizawa will be hunted down by Oyashiro-sama, and they finally gotten to me. That's the town you lived in before you moved here, isn't that right, Ryugu-san? I didn't want to move, but because of my mom and dad's circumstances, we had to, but Oyashiro-sama wouldn't allow it. Ryugu-san must have lots of friends in Hinamizawa. Even now, you must be missing them dearly, don't you think? I want to go back to Hinamizawa. No, it's not that I want to go back, I have to go back. I should have gone back much sooner, but now it's too late. Oyashiro-sama has come. Oyashiro-sama is the name of the god in Hinamizawa, isn't that right? Everyone knows. It's Hinamizawa's guardian deity, and if you ever try abandoning Hinamizawa by leaving, you'll incur its wrath. His wrath. You had moved quite a while ago, didn't you? Then it was just now that this god has arrived. Is that what you're saying? You might not believe me, but Oyashiro-sama exists. That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered. That it was Oyashiro-sama's doing, right? I do believe there is that kind of superstition in Hinamizawa. That if you leave the village, then you incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath. You should be familiar with this part, Mayabara-san. I knew very well that those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Sadako's parents, supporters, and leading advocates for the dam were cursed to their death. But this was the first time I had ever heard of the curse incurred by leaving the village. Come to think of it, have Mion and Sadako really interacted much? Because, like, Mion's very much against the dam. Sadako's parents were for the dam. So, makes you wonder if, like, Mion projected onto Sadako, like, oh, you're an enemy, or, you know? I'm curious about that. It makes me want to go back and see if they ever talk to each other. This is my first time hearing that. I can understand outside threats being cursed by the village, but why also villagers who want to leave? Normally, people who leave villages aren't supposed to be cursed, right? I know it's a bit strange to say it, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Oishi-san pondered for a bit over the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again. Well, I told you of long ago when Hinamizawa was called Onigafuchi, didn't I? I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of ogres. Villagers at the foot of the mountains worshipped the ogres, so Onigafuchi was hallowed ground that you could never enter. It came to be that if you entered carelessly, you were cursed by Oyashiro-sama. Those who set foot in Onigafuchi, in other words, Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand that. I know that, but for leaving to also be no good, that's also the ogres, you see. They were being strictly watched by Oyashiro-sama, so they would not enter into our world. In other words, Oyashiro-sama probably restricted interaction between Onigafuchi and the rest of the world. I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Oyashiro-sama was. So basically, Oyashiro-sama is more like a warden than a protectorate deity, I guess. Trying to keep this place isolated from the rest of the world. I guess that's how it would seem. Sorry, I don't know very much myself. This is mostly what was passed on to me from my grandmother. I could understand it a bit better if it was something like that. Those who came to Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So, because Reina originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed. So that means because Reina moved away against its wishes, and oh my god. So that means because Reina moved away against its wishes, she was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. Is that what it adds up to? In short, that seems to be what it points to, I guess. As a matter of fact, soon afterwards, they did move back to Hinamizawa after all. Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed. But then why only Reina? Shouldn't Reina's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and having been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it would be insane. God, the artwork is pretty interesting. Let me just crack every bone in my body. I really want to finish this chapter, but I'm starting to get kind of tired. Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it'd be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big of a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one person disappearing on the day of the Nagashi. I don't like saying at most, though. Well, anyways, there's still a lot I don't know. Even if it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, it doesn't add up to why her classmates, the victims who were beaten with a metal bat, wouldn't press charges. You don't think the victims were cowering because they believed that terrible curse had befallen them, do you? Of course I didn't want to believe it. But more importantly, I had just realized something else. There was another bizarre connection that Reina made between Oyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. Then Reina as well. She was affected by Oyashiro-sama's curse, then confessed that much to the doctor. And the weapons she used at the time were of And the weapon which she had used at the time of that horrendous act was, again, a metal bat. And finally, me. I've been encountered on various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding on to a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. Had the same thing happened to Reina? But there was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. That being, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Reina was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse, yet they were met with different endings. And finally, me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Reina, Satoshi, and finally me. Could it be that I was really under Oyashiro-sama's curse right now? Satoshi had been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Reina was fine. Fine? Reina had undergone a change. I could only believe that there was something that wasn't Reina residing within her. And here right now. It was standing before me. Oh my god. Ugh. I might need to end stream because, like, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Okay. This sucks. Okay. I'm gonna do that. I'll be back later. I don't know.